Well, there's a lot going on. Joining us now to break everything down is Mike Wagner, of course, a professor of journalism and mass comm at UW-Madison. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
Well, what does the research tell you about how this verdict is going to shape the presidential election?
Well, first, this is unprecedented, so we don't have historical research to build on. But what polling has shown over the last several months is that this is likely to cause somewhere between a 1 on the low end and 6 on the high end percentage point drop for support of President Trump. I think it's probably closer to the 1% than the 6%, but these are going to be close elections in swing states, and that kind of distance or change could be determinative.
So, this election we've been talking about, like you just said, is going to be decided on these swing states, right? This verdict here is not going to change the mind of millions across the country, but could it change enough in that small margin in states like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Michigan where that they really could have an impact on the outcome in November?
Yeah, there are people who voted for Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden. And these folks are looking at an election where they find some things they don't like about Joe Biden, but now they have this additional thing about Donald Trump, 34 felony convictions so far. He has other cases still pending. And in the mind of some voters, they might be thinking to themselves, I have to consider voting for someone who may not even be able to vote for himself, given his conviction, if he votes in the state of Florida, whereas a felony wouldn't be able to vote until he'd served his term.
I mean, we heard from the chair of the Wisconsin Republican Party there. We heard from Senator Ron Johnson. I mean, they are casting some very serious doubt on the system, calling it egregious election interference. The sham narrative that Donald Trump, I mean, it's filtered down to state Republican parties. Casting doubt on the system, if you don't accept that the system works, what challenge does that prevent long-term down the road past November?
It's the classic strategy of blaming the refs when you lose the game. And here we've had a very garden variety trial. Like, this was a very normal trial. And the convictions were quite clear. There was no ambiguity in the jury's decision. President Trump had his day in court. He lost. This is a person who now has been convicted of doing something that was, basically hiding things from the American people while trying to become president. In his presidency, he was impeached twice and then lost his re-election bid, and each time has blamed someone else.
But he's never been more popular, I believe, than he is right now.
He is extremely popular amongst Republicans. He has less support amongst independents than he did earlier. And so this is the kind of thing that might hurt him with independent voters, but it's also the kind of thing that might spur Republicans who were on the fence about voting in the first place to show up and vote because of their distrust in the system.
All right. Well, we've got a lot more to talk about. Mike's going to be joining us coming up in our next half hour as well. Mike, good to talk to you as always.
You too.
Thanks again. All right, 6:07 now. If you want to see all of our coverage of the conviction across all of our platforms, we've put it in one nice, easy to find space for you. Just go to the Channel 3000 mobile app, download it if you don't have it.